Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Girls Frontline, or perhaps Girls Frontline? I don't know why multiple translations of the title exist. The gacha is called Dolls Frontline, and the characters at the start even say Shoujo Sensen. So, or Shoujo Senki? No, I think it's Shoujo Sensen. I don't remember, but they say girl, not doll, from what I understand at least. I don't know, they just translate the series in two different ways for some reason. At least Irai Rose posts their releases as Those Frontline, and Subspleece posts theirs as Girls Frontline. And today we are watching the Subspleece version. That's what I downloaded. I didn't stop to think twice that hey, maybe I was downloading this series by some other subgroup, because I never really use any other subgroups besides Subspleece, unless we're talking about non-seasonals, because, well, fan subbers have time to create, actual subs that with a lot of care put into them, right? Subspleece are just rips from the official release. I think that Irairos might be the same, so I don't know if there's gonna be any difference in subs. If there's gonna be, if Subspleece version turns out to be absolutely worse, we're gonna switch back to Irairos. If it's fine, then I'm gonna continue with Subspleece, so I don't have to, think twice about which version to download. Right. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the anime itself. In the last episode, I don't really know what happened. Or rather, I can recreate how the events went, but I don't really know what it's all about. Right? We were dropped very much in medias res with minimal exposition, with minimal information. I'm assuming people who have been playing the gacha for a long time feel exactly like at home, even from the very first episode. I'm not all that far in the gacha quite yet, chapter 2, and I haven't moved much forward, so I don't think I'm too much ahead of the storyline of the anime, and even if, I don't really get the story of the gacha either, so perhaps the anime will explain it to me in more detail and better. As far as the events that transpired in the last episode go, are those the AR team from Griffin were sent to steal some data from Sangvis Ferri, or Sangvis Ferri, or however you pronounce it. And they got the data, but then they had to fight, and they succeeded in that fight. But then they had to deliver that data. They couldn't transmit it because some mumbo jumbo, so they had to deliver it on foot. So they sent a single messenger, and the rest of them stayed behind to divert the enemy's attention. And that's the episode ended. No, that's not when the episode ended. The episode ended after the commander appeared. The androgynous, pink haired, I'm guessing girl woman, who will take charge of, well, not of Griffin, but at least of this particular team. I'm honestly not quite sure how it looks in world. Is the player in the gacha the... No, I don't think we are like the leaders of Griffin, because we get orders from the top. We are like an upstart, new and coming and promising commander. I think that's the lore, I think that's the story. So that's probably the stand-in for our player character. What's gonna happen in this episode? I have no clue. We're gonna have to watch it and see for ourselves. And this is again Iron Wart and Stinging Nettle. Great combination. What did I just... Oh, it's some sort of a cable. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna pick it up now, because if I don't, then I'm gonna roll over it in my chair, and it's gonna get tangled up, and nobody likes tangled cables. It's better to prevent than to solve the problem. Okay, let's go. By the by, those Frontline and Symphogear are the best performing series on my channel so far. So, just so you know, I guess I'm gonna have to watch more anime that has an already established fan base. Because I've been watching Tokyo 24Ku and the first episode got over 100 views. And I uploaded the second episode of Tokyo 24Ku just yesterday and it got like 4 views. So you can see the power of the fan base, right? Although I don't know how many views this episode's gonna get. Maybe it's gonna be 4 again. I don't know. I'm not gonna drop it. I'm gonna keep watching it, even if there's just a single person watching those episodes. Okay, let's stop talking and start watching, shall we? So, Girls Frontline slash Dolls Frontline episode 2. Let me double check that it is indeed episode 2. Episode 2 version by Sabs Please is gonna be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Scorpion, Pepesha. Okay, bit of a reminder of what's going on. Yep, Sangvis Ferri. Okay, thank you for the explanation. Now I actually understand the plot. Last time on Dragon Ball Z. Hey, Kalina! Zhan Xian. Sure. Okay, so Commander is also a waifu. That's a big bed. Yeah, that's a mood. The OP is still a banger. It really is an AMV, isn't it? Or MV, just MV. GMV, I guess. Also, yes, I heard that they are apparently working on Arknight's anime. You can be sure that whenever it comes out, I'm gonna watch it. I even have it saved in my little secret channel on my Discord server where I put all your requests, so I have things to pick from. You're gonna need to roll for more. Ah, yes, their personality and all that also matters. Of course, gonna pick the waifu squad, not the meta squad. Hmm. Personality test. You can't always safely extract, though. Hmm. I mean, they are all artificial constructs with some sort of an AI. You could safely assume that however the AI is made, all of them have the same, properties, the same kind of thinking. If the AI is able to think outside of the box, then every single doll is able to think outside of the box. I'm gonna be honest, I never really properly built my teams. Ooh, I like her. The one with dog ears. I never actually built a proper squad in Girls Frontline. I just pick the rarest waifus I have and I try to place them on the grid so that they have the most coverage from buffs. Made one squad out of 3 MGs and 2 sniper rifles and it didn't go well, but it had all my waifus there. The node system, so we're getting some gameplay. I really like her. Dog ears, Nan's habit, cutie fang. Okay, a swarm of dogs. P7. I'll remember that. Actually, I'll note it down. P7. I know who I want to roll for. That's some nice gunfire sounds. That's a lot of brass. Wiped out. As expected. Okay, so of course the commander will be better at commanding because she actually cares about the dolls, doesn't treat them as disposable. I can see where it's going. And here's another waifu. I mean, makes sense. They want to test her abilities first. Calling it now, this emotional attachment is gonna bite her in the ass one day, but ultimately it's gonna be a net positive. And here are your waifus. And you need to level them up after all. For a moment I thought that it's the ED already, but no. We still have a little bit of runtime left. Another mission? Oh, hello. Some commander was KIA. Hmm. Is Ingram. Is Ingram the doll from the first episode? Doesn't Griffin have any high-end models though? You'd think that to fight a high-end model, they're gonna employ another high-end model. That's a lot of pepechas. Oh, it's the high-end model. Of course it is. Tell me your name so I know who I need to roll for. Okay, that's Scarecrow. A baton? Ooh, unlimited gun works. I like it. I'm a huge sucker for flying weapons. Flying swords, flying guns, that kind of stuff. Oh, I love it. I like her. Oh, an ambush. Yeah, ambush doesn't really work well when she can shoot in all directions at once. Third squad? Third squad. Oh, she's back. That's kind of a shitty weapon that you need a baton to control it. You lose the baton and There goes your weapon. Self-destruction sequence. Hmm. Triangulating the truth. Interesting. That's a huge fault of the programming, though. You'd think that military dolls would use like cryptographically secure randomization or something. Of course, wireless transmission exists. She has a SIM card in her head and can just transmit that data. It's so obvious. Hmm? So they're after the M4A1. Oh, that's the one from the first episode. The one that ran with the data. Okay. And of course, she speaks German. Who are you? And why are you ringing the bell? Okay, she's one of the Sangvis, those, of course. That's apparent from her design. And here's M4. Is she gonna head towards the city and she's gonna get lured into a trap? Or how's it gonna go, I wonder? That's it. That was episode 2. That's a nice ED. I don't think we had this ED in the last episode. Or did we and I just don't remember that? And that's it. Now it's time to go through the episode again. Although there isn't really a lot that I have to say about it, to be perfectly honest with you. Episode 3, The Echo. Can I change the scene, OBS? Thank you for allowing me to do that. Okay. Yeah, animation. Uh, uh, Flashback to last time of Dragon Ball Z, essentially. I forgot the proper name for it, doesn't matter. Kalina. Her face is a little bit wider than in the game. No, she still looks good. Although her face differs from between this shot and this shot. Ah, it's really a minute detail. And of course, right from the get-go, you have an operation to command. Kind of weird that she was just thrown into the thick of things immediately without being given even a little bit of time to breathe, to at least take a nap or eat something. Now, straight off the road, and she has to command. Now, as we learn later, it's thankfully just a tutorial, just a test, so it doesn't really matter. Not like she would have failed it even if she was sleep deprived, but still a bit of a weird thing to do, right? You think that you want your commanders, especially in top condition at all times. And this is what makes her different. She wants to talk to those dolls, not just look at their stats, but also talk to them to figure out their personality. Some might be more cowardly, some might be more courageous, but perhaps courage is discouraged during this particular mission, right? It all matters. So she cares a lot about the dolls, and that's how she's different. Sorry. Yeah, what do you do? I'd abandon the mission. If elements of the mission are uncertain, it's better to try again another day. Honestly, not sure if I'm fully satisfied with that answer. Me personally, right? You're on a mission and you carry that mission out. Maybe thinking outside of the box would be like, I don't know, take the scope off your sniper rifle, put it on your pistol, and try to use that, or something like that. But abandon the mission and try another day, it's not always feasible, right? You have to rescue a prisoner who will be executed the next day. You can't return another day. You're trying to stop some, I don't know, illegal arms deal. You can't ask the dealers to wait another day because, hey, I'm having some, equipment issues. Can we get back to it tomorrow? Bit a bit weird that the commander, Jen Xian or whatever her name is, I'm gonna call her the commander. The commander is satisfied with this answer. Sure, it shows thinking outside of the box, but you would think that since all of the dolls are based on the same AI, they have the same capabilities, right? They might be able to form their own personalities and their own quirks, absolutely, but at least the capabilities are the same. All of them are capable of speech, all of them are capable of locomotion, all of them are capable of understanding complex sentences. Stands to reason that all of them would be able to think outside of the box. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe in the lore of Girls Frontline there are some dolls that aren't able to think outside of the box. Maybe even that is something that differs. Maybe they don't have one generic AI installed into them, and instead every single doll has AI generated by another AI or something like that. I've no clue how it works. Just don't spoil me too much, right? As always, keep the spoilers to minimum, preferably to null. If you want to talk spoilers about the show or something, there's a place on my Discord where all spoilers can go. You're free to post spoilers there as long as you put them in those spoiler tags. Okay, let's continue with the show. Yeah, what if she could make the decision? We're talking to all other waifus. Submachine guns to the front, one assault rifle to the rear. I'll have to remember that and try to make that that formation. I really like P7's design. I don't know, I'm a sucker for thick eyebrows, I'm a sucker for lolly nuns, and I'm a sucker for dog ears, especially Doberman ears. I love Doberman from Arknights too, if you didn't guess yet. I hope she's not like a limited unit or something. She's a handgun, right? I'm gonna have to produce more handguns. Prowlers and dinner gates. Dinnergate sounds like another controversy on Twitter. Hashtag Dinnergate. Right, the puppets or the dolls or what did they call them? I don't remember. I was always wondering how it works in the show. Are they just, multiple instances of the same doll that are working as a group? But no, apparently every proper like doll can control a certain number of, I'm assuming, mass-produced and very generic puppets that basically turn into that doll through some sort of magic. That also explains why you need to level your dolls up to make them able to control more puppets. Yeah, it actually explains the lore from the game. I like it. It makes sense. Okay, formation. Now in the game you're never gonna position your units like that. You can position some of them in the rear, some of them in the front, but that's basically where positioning ends. You don't really have control over their position during the fight. Although, I heard that Girls Frontline 2 is in the making, and it's supposed to have XCOM like battles, and I'm super excited for that. Why did nobody before come up with the idea of connecting XCOM and gacha? Right? It's such a great gameplay loop in XCOM, and your operators can be taken from gacha. Mind blowing. I'm waiting with bated breath for Girls Frontline 2. I hope it's gonna be good, and I hope your account transfers. I don't wanna leave my waifus behind. I don't wanna leave my Thompson. And of course, everything went well. One, because it was tutorial, sure, but because the commander is good. Of course, we have a capable protagonist. As always, you rarely, if ever, seen capable protagonists in anime. Meeting with Hylian. Yeah, low priority targets, yada yada. And you have an issue because you are a little too emotionally attached to the dolls. I wonder if it's a little bit of a foreshadowing. Usually it is. Usually it's foreshadowing. And it usually ends up with the protagonist getting into trouble because they are so attached. Like, I don't know, they have to abandon their current mission to rescue their companions instead of leaving them for death. But in the end, it always works out. I wonder how it's gonna go here, or maybe they're gonna completely ignore that fact and they're just not gonna use it in the story. I don't know. Welcome to Griffin. And of course, all the dolls are grateful that they were able to survive without any damage. even the dolls that weren't used during the mission, which is interesting to say the least. They all wanted to say thank you. Okay, no, they just came in because they want to be used by the commander. Use me next time. Okay. Yeah, I thought this is M4A1 from the last episode because she also has that black and green aesthetic, but no, it's a completely different doll whose team was wiped out by Scarecrow. Who is she? No, wait. Uh, we've seen her, right? In the first episode, she was the one who was giving orders to the A4 team, wasn't she? I think I remember things right. Yeah, one of her scorpions was imprisoned, and we need to recover the scorpion. Battle, battle, fight, fight, fight. Here comes the Scarecrow, and of course she is an elite doll or high something doll. I forget how they're called. I forgot that already. I have such a bad memory for names. I love floating weapons. I said that already. I like. I think it's Uriah in Alchemy Stars who has floating swords. I loved the attack that the not the princess, the princess's friend in Overlord had, the one with the cursed sword, how she had like swords floating around her. I love all instances of like shields floating around the character. I don't know why. It's for some reason the idea of floating weapons is super appealing to me. Most of all, if there's like swords spread in a fan shape behind their back, that's chef's kiss. Here's a similar idea with the guns. One downside of this weapon, of course, you need the baton for some reason. Those guns aren't controlled with her mind. You'd think that would be something they do, right? Since all the control module can be placed in essentially a pen, you'd think that they place it in her skull, or give her a horn and make her a unicorn, a pretty pony princess, and she can use that without the risk of her hand being blown off. But no, for some reason they went with this kind of design, and predictably she loses her arm, she loses her means of defense, lays down on the ground, talking. And we are talking a lot instead of taking the module and bailing, and we are giving her time to complete her mission. Always. Always. The good guys never actually kill the bad guys as soon as they have the chance to. They always give them a chance to monologue. And haha, this monologue was just a diversion. My super death beam laser from the moon will fire in 5 seconds, you fool. Uh, it's a trope. It being used is expected, so I'm not holding it against this series. Still, I'm different than a tool that just follows human orders. Yeah, Sangvis Ferri dolls gained consciousness. I'm assuming that's what happened. And they don't want to live as human servants. A kind of a similar theme to Punishing Grey Raven. There's also a bit of a story about how the constructs they're the ones infected and like recruited by the Ascendants or whatever they're called did that because they don't want to be controlled by humans. It's a common theme and fairly popular one. And of course, she was given the time to calculate the numbers and initiate self-destruction. Should have grabbed the module when you had a chance. Here's another waifu. I love her huge claw. That's another weakness of mine. Huge gauntlets, huge claws. Yeah, M4A1, green and black aesthetic. That's why I mistook her for that other doll whose name I don't remember. Edie. That was Girls Frontline episode 2. Not particularly captivating yet, to be perfectly honest with you, but I understand that we are still in the setup, in the setup area, right? In the first episode, we set up the mission and the overall plot, right? They stole some super important data, and N4A1 had to transport that data to the base, and that's the plot for at least the first arc of the season. I don't know if we're gonna cover more than this arc, the retrieval arc. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but the first episode establishes that this arc exists. The second episode introduces us to the commander and introduces us to the mechanics of how things work, right? The commander picks the squad, sends the squad into the field, and commands that squad who goes where, who shoots when. It introduces us essentially to the game mechanics, but in the context of the anime. I'm hoping from episode 3 onwards, we're gonna see some more action. Maybe not necessarily. We've been seeing a lot of action already, so I don't want, a whole episode of just shooting. It gets boring with time. The same amount of action as we're getting now, but perhaps a little bit more story, right? A little bit more of the actual anime, so to speak. We're done with the setup. Let's get into the meat of it. That's what I'm hoping for. I noted down P7 as the name of the waifu that I will try to get. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm gonna report back to you guys next week when we watch episode 3. I'm enjoying this anime so far. It's not particularly groundbreaking, it's not particularly great, but it's not bad either. It's not, grating. I don't wish that I never picked it up. I don't wish to drop it. I'm gonna continue watching it unless it really drops the ball and really gets bad. I don't think it will. I really don't. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. There isn't really much more to discuss, so I'm not gonna prolong it any further. I'm just gonna tell you guys to go watch my Tokyo 24-Ku reactions. Tokyo 24-Ku is a great series as well. Also, the last episode 2, was a setup episode. And there are also some fears of it going tits up eventually because of some production issues, apparently. I don't know. Tomorrow, Symphogear episode 2 is gonna go live on YouTube, and episode 3 is gonna go up on my Patreon. What else? On Tuesday, I think it's Tuesdays. Yeah, on Tuesday we're gonna watch Sabikui Bisco episode 2, and then rinse and repeat. Yesterday we were watching Tokyo 24-Ku episode 2. So that's my schedule for the week. It's already set in stone, so you can safely await the series you're interested in. To get notified about them, about my future releases, you can subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon. You know what to do. Every single channel tells you to do that, so it would be weird if you didn't know how subscriptions work. But I'm gonna tell you that anyway, because hey, maybe you forgot. Leave a comment down below what you thought of this episode, what you thought of my reaction, what are your thoughts of this anime versus the game. People are playing the game, people are liking the game. What are your thoughts of the anime? Is it a faithful adaptation, or are there some obvious issues? Just, again, I'm gonna have to ask you to not spoil me anything. I don't want spoilers. I want to enjoy the show myself, such as it is. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Join my Discord server, a link is down in the description. It's free for everybody, but if you support me on Patreon for any amount of money, You get access to the special hidden channel and the role and stuff like that. And yes, you can support me on Patreon. Link is again down in the description. It gets you things like the role on the Discord. It gets you things like early access to non-seasonal shows, which this time it's Symphogear, as I mentioned before, right? Early access to episode 3 is gonna be up for Patreons. Anything else I need to talk about? No, I don't think so. I think that's it. So I'm just gonna end it here. And as always, no, wait, how does it go? How does my outro go? That's gonna be it from me for today. So, as always, do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Cheers! And the outro again. You can join this merry bunch